Hi there, welcome back to the study for another episode of Dave's Desk. Continuing our short series on Jesus' death and resurrection, we've reached that moment where Jesus is handed over to the Roman authorities to be executed. And when they receive him, he has this show trial with Pilate. He's mocked, abused, tortured even. And eventually taken out of the city carrying his own cross, where up on a hill overlooking the road into the city he's nailed onto the cross and left to die. And as he's hanging there in excruciating pain, the Jewish leaders mock him and laugh at him, deride him, say, you said you could save the city, but you can't even save yourself. You said you'd restore us, but you can't even heal yourself. And they cannot conceive of the possibility that Jesus could step down from the cross, but chooses not to. They cannot open their minds enough to understand that the only thing holding Jesus on the cross is his love for us. That if he didn't love us, there would be no way in which we could even lay a hand on him. But they're blind to that, and so they mock. And the day keeps going until about halfway through the afternoon, and it starts to go dark, and Jesus cries out, abandoned by God. The Father's face that had for all of his life been there, his Father's presence always with him, suddenly removed, and so it becomes dark, the sun shining no more. The earth shivers with the might of God's wrath directed upon the Son, until Jesus speaks, "It is finished," and hands his life into his Father's hands, dying on the cross in our place. And in many ways, the death of one innocent man in his mid to early 30s seems unremarkable in this world, because our world is full of pain and suffering and injustice. There are many people killed who do not deserve to be killed. And there's a reason, though, that the story of Jesus is different, because although many of us are good by human standards, innocent by human standards, Jesus was perfectly innocent, perfectly guiltless. That although many of us fear death, we do so in ignorance. Jesus faced death and accepted death, knowing full well the suffering that was to come. And although many of us experience pain and loss in this life, none of us will ever know the fullness of the pain and suffering and loss that Jesus experienced from the Father on the cross. Jesus died on the cross, and he experienced a pain like no one on earth has ever experienced. So we don't know his pain. He understands ours. He lived here. He knew loss. But we need never know his. If we accept Jesus' death on the cross as being for us, then we need never experience anything like the suffering he experienced on the cross. After Jesus died, his body was taken down and he was sealed into a tomb. But the promise of Jesus is that after we die, we will be given freedom and new life. That there is no need to fear what lies beyond death, because he has made that journey for us and made it safe for us. And I think many people are fearing death, unsure of what it would mean. And I think it's entirely right that whatever our beliefs and our faith, we would fear the loss of those who are dear to us. But there is a real joy and comfort for those of us who have faith, who have family, who have the same faith, in knowing that they they will be going to somewhere glorious, somewhere of freedom and new life. And so although we would miss them, we would know the joy of their freedom. And for ourselves, just knowing that although we would regret what we left behind, the things we left undone, that actually in death there is freedom and new life. And I just want to encourage you that if you're feeling unsure or unsafe, that in that moment of dying on the cross, Jesus destroyed death for us and opened up life eternal. Amen. Thank you for joining us again today. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Goodbye.